Okay.
Annie Haslam,
Yes, that's me.
Renaissance. Welcome to
Guilty.
69 Face of Rock. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I've been painting most of the day, painting a violin for somebody. And no, I'm doing well. Looking forward to these shows coming up with Jim McCarty. And yeah, it's good. I'm
Um,
excited.
so obviously you have a big event coming up in November. So tell me, how did the idea of the history of Renaissance originated?
Oh, the history of Renaissance. Oh my God, it's a shame Jim's not here because he's been telling it that really well. But I know that when they were in the Yardbirds, they decided that wanted to have another band, and it wasn't all that long after they'd kind of stopped because they were tired of it. You know what I mean? It was too much. It was time to stop. But and then they got a band together, and they didn't really know where they were what kind of music they were going to do until John Hawking one day at rehearsal when they were trying to come up with something, um, started playing Beethoven on the piano,
Mhm.
and ding, that started it all off.
One note.
Yeah, ding. That was the song on Island
Yeah.
that got me the job, actually. That was the song I sang. But it started like that. And I said to Jim the other day, I said, well, where did the name come from? I mean, you couldn't have a better name for the music. And he said it was his lodger. He had a lodger in his house. Somebody that, you know what a lodger is? I don't know what you call it there, but, well, here in America. But so somebody who rents a room.
Okay.
Um, he had a lodger at the time, and the guy said, "Well, why don't you call it Renaissance or Renaissance?" You know, and he said, "Oh, wow, that's a good idea." That's you'd think it was a bit right, really, different than that, but it was the lodger.
Yeah.
So that was good information.
So how did you kind of reconnect with Jim McCarty, who is joining you on this new venture?
Well, we stayed in touch over the years. He was at my audition, and then we got together with Lewis and Armo. I think it was like late 80s to try and come up with something, the three of us. Um, and um, and then after that, we didn't take it any further. But when it came to our 50th anniversary over here, and we'd already formed our own 10-piece orchestra, um, I thought, we need to bring Jim over for this and to do the island with the orchestra. And it was amazing. And he also played on Ashes Are Burning as well.
Mhm.
So it was great. He did two shows. He did Town Hall in New York and the Keswick Theatre. And then after that, just stayed in touch. But he lives in France. He's been busy again with the Yardbirds. They were touring again over here last year. And when this idea came up from this promoter in Edwardsville, uh, uh, he contacted me. He said, "I wanted to bring you down here again because we were there. The last two shows we did with the band were October last year." And he said, "I want to bring you down here to do a one-woman show." So I said, well, I don't know about that. I love to tell stories, but I don't ever could sit there and tell stories for like nearly 2 hours or whatever it is. And I'm not really into that. It's like, why don't you write a book? Well, I don't want to write a book because it's the past. And I
Mhm.
want to live now and and for the future. So anyway, in the end, it all came together, and the person came straight into my head. It was like somebody touched me on the shoulder and said, "Jim McCarty's perfect." You know, he got me the. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be talking to you.
That's right. Now, do you foresee any more shows besides this one?
Yeah, we were asked that. I mean, if anybody was interested, and it looked like it was possible, because Jim lives in France,
Mhm.
and he's also still got the Yardbirds that he's working with. So it depends. I mean, we can't go on forever, because of our age and everything like that. But I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Play it by ear, really. Yeah.
So let's talk some history since the whole thing is all about history. So, um, when did you realize you had this unusual gift, which is your voice?
It took a while, actually, funnily enough. And it wasn't until I joined the band. I mean, I got the job. I mean, Jim said we knew as soon as you walked in, kind of thing, that I'd done my homework, and I sang the song with the band, and it was obvious that I was, you know, I knew as soon as I walked in myself.
Mhm.
But I never knew that my voice was different, because my brother Michael was managed by Brian Epstein. His voice was like mine in a man,
Mhm.
unusual, tone and everything. Anyway, I didn't really think anything of it. I mean, at all until in the 70s, I think it was. He was a sound guy called Mickey Stewart. He's a lovely guy. And when we first started up, I think he was with us. And one day he said, Annie, he said, do you realize that there's what is going on with your voice and the sound of your voice and what it means to people, but what the sound is? And I didn't really know. I guess I started listening to it differently, but I still, when you're talking from your own head, it doesn't sound, you're so used to it that I never realized. But I did go to an opera singer for 9 months before I joined a cabaret group. That was my first, thing in '68, I think it was. And I went to this opera singer because Shirley Bassey's teacher I went to first, but he couldn't see me. He loved my voice. He said, "Oh, your voice is different." And I thought, well, that's the first time somebody said it was different and it was pure and all this. And then I went to the opera singer, and that's where I found my 5 octaves, and then joined this cabaret group. And then this guy called David Gardner, who played guitar in the group, said, "Annie, your voice is not suited for this. I mean, it's great, but you should be doing something else. Your voice is very special." So I left, and then I found Renaissance, or they found me, whatever it was. Well, he gave me the ad in the Melody Maker.
And how aware were you of Renaissance before you joined the band?
How what?
How aware were you of what they've done prior to joining?
Oh, I never heard of them.
Okay.
Actually, let me think. My boyfriend was Eric Peacock. He kept putting me in for talent competitions when he heard me singing after I've had a few to drink one night, and that's how it started off. He was a catalyst, really, and yeah, I remember when we moved in together, we got a record player, and we bought King Crimson. Yeah, what was it? What was the title of the one with the horrible face on the front? In the Hall of the Kings
The
and
court,
Crimson
yeah.
King, in the Court of the Crimson King, and that was interesting because John Wetton later on became a friend of mine, and he was in it at the time. And then we also bought what else? Oh, Electric Light Orchestra. These are the first 2 albums we bought, and then I ended up living with Roy Wood for 4 years.
Oh,
Isn't that weird? It's just like all these things it was like it was meant to be, all these jigsaw puzzles coming together, the pieces, and you don't realize until you get older and you're thinking differently. But when you get asked questions, that makes you think more of things that you never thought of. Oh my God, it was a sign.
mhm. So if you were to put it into words, what do you think you brought with you into Renaissance?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Uh, I guess because of the classical feel that they had, which I loved. Um, I guess because I was trained as I've got 5 octaves, and my voice, I guess my voice just, and they said the same thing, my voice just sat with the music perfectly. So I guess it was just meant to be again. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, no, it's a tough one. How would you describe the work ethic within Renaissance?
Oh my God, it was amazing. I mean, we were all when I joined, it was actually 6 pieces, and I was just doing backing vocals and singing song "Face of Yesterday" in Ireland, I think it was that I sang, and then Miles Copeland came into our lives and fired everybody except John Tout.
Mhm.
And kept Michael Dunford on as a writer because he wasn't sure if he wanted to be in the band, but he stayed on as our writer. And so we formed the band there. That it didn't take too long actually. I think John Camp was the first, which is he played a Rickenbacker bass again. That was something that just sat so beautifully with the music, perfect. And then the next, it was Terry Sullivan, and again he's not a heavy drummer. He just like an orchestral, just everything again was just so sat together perfectly. And yeah, gosh, we toured, rehearsed, recorded a lot, nonstop
Oh
over
yeah.
the first few years, really. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was, and we enjoyed each other's company, so it made it even nicer. And we'd all got the same sense of humor, which is very important. So, and then the words were phenomenal, and of course, Michael's writing was fantastic, and also John and Terry, well, all of them really. They were all great writers. Michael Starr, it was, and Betty Thatcher, of course.
Mhm.
But the words, it was,
Fantastic.
it was, yeah,
Um,
amazing.
were there any challenges along the way?
Um, yeah, I think so. After we had Northern Lights was a hit, we had we were encouraged to come up with some more hit singles.
Mhm.
You know, yeah. and,
And
and
you were an album band.
and that's when new wave and punk and all that stuff started to come in, and I well, I wouldn't be sitting here now if it was any different, but I would like to, because we were so different from everybody else. Why would we have to change? It's like, yes, they didn't change.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And Genesis, or whatever, they changed people, but they still, um, and we was floundering really when we had to do that, and then we were doing songs that some of them were really good, like Ukraine Ways and Flood at Leon, things like that. That really good songs, but most of them were songs anybody could sing, and it just didn't work. And then Terry and John left, John Ted and Terry left, and it was just never the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, was the band more successful in Europe or United States?
United States,
And why is that?
because we were there all the time. Well, it started off, I got the job, and then within 3 weeks we were touring in Germany, um, which was really really fast for me because I was so naive in so many ways, and but I really never got nervous before I went on. But when I sang, I had my hands like this, kind of holding on to myself, is this happening kind of thing. Um, and what was the question again?
Where were you more successful? Was it more Europe or United
Oh
States?
yeah, right. So well, we did in those first couple of years, we did concentrate. Let's see, 1971, 72. We didn't go to America until 1973.
Mhm.
So we did several tours of Germany, and but we never went to Japan or any place. We didn't do that until later on. When we got the band back together again. But yeah, and then we went to America, and like it just. It all fell into place. Everybody, they just loved the music. We had WNEW-FM, Alison Steele, and she was, promoted us because they could then. And it was easier in those days, and Ed Sharkey, as I mentioned, some great other DJs in the 70s really helped us, move forward. And same with Yes and people like that. Same thing. Wonderful.
I'm gonna show you some records and whatever comes to your mind. So your first album, Prologue, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What do you remember from that time?
Well, that was the first one that we did, and I think Jim was still involved in it because he stayed involved with the band uh, for a short while. And oh, my cat's finding something on the floor there. Sorry, they're scratching.
I have
Sorry.
a dog. Don't worry about it. I know how it is.
Hey, hey, hey. Um, yeah. Well, so he Bound for Infinity. He wrote on that, and I think on the Frontier, is that on Ashes of Burnt? What's that on? Is it on there?
think so.
We're on the frontier now.
I'm looking at this.
I think it was it might have been the last song, or Raja Khan might have been the last song, but
It is Raja Khan. At the end. The print is so small, can barely see
I
it.
know it's terrible. Well, no, it's our eyes. We're getting older.
No, On the Frontier was actually on Ashes.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so he was still involved then. But gosh, Ray Prologue, I remember it was Nova Sound in West End of London, and we had an electric. Mickey was still involved, but we brought in an electric guitarist. We did have a guy that we chose called Mick Parsons, but he had a terrible accident and died when he was out with his girlfriend before coming back to London to carry on with the band. And he had a car accident.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking. He was wonderful. It would have been perfect for the band. But so we ended up with an electric guitarist, which we weren't sure about. But anyway, we toured with the band, and we found out it was too heavy, really. But I have to say, I really do like Raja Khan. And I'm not sure if we ever did it live, but oh God, I wish we had. It's just so intense, isn't it? You just get lost in it.
Yeah. Um, Ashes Are Burning. You're kind of a big breakthrough in a way.
Yeah, well, it's funny because whenever we recorded anything, we didn't make any effort to kind of, right, then we've got to do something a bit different here or whatever.
Mhm.
Everything that we did just came naturally.
And it
And
feels like it.
yeah, it did. Each album like that, it was the same. Turn of the Cards. It was just like a natural thing. We were growing ourselves through it. And Novella, which was, the songs. I mean, we have so. It's like Steve Hackett. I went to see Steve Hackett a couple of days ago. He was a friend of mine, and this every song. I mean, it's the Genesis thing, isn't it? And
Mhm.
his solo stuff is unbelievable. But it's like we have so many. We used when Mickey and I were doing tours, and we said, well, what are we going to choose? Because they're all so long, and you've only got like an hour and a half or something like that. Then there's only so many songs you can do. And we've got to be careful that they're not too long instrumentally, because then you're not going to hear me sing, So, but we have a fantastic catalogue to choose from.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm going through it.
Yeah, it really is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of another fantastic album, Turn Off the Cards.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, I remember Mickey coming to the house. I was living with Miles Copeland at the time. You probably know his name.
Mhm.
And we were living just down the road, like a quarter of a mile from Abbey Road Studios. We were right there, right there. And in fact, we did some work down there at one point. But Mickey used to come over to the house, and he said, "I've got to come over with this tiny little cassette machine." It was like 8 inches by 4 inches, whatever it was. Four buttons on it, like play, record, back, forward, stop, five buttons. And he came with Mother Russia. He gave me the words, and he played it on an acoustic guitar. So, I mean, anybody that's really a good composer, they've got it all in their head where they know where it's going to go. And I couldn't see it at all at first. I thought, I don't get this at all. Because I wasn't a songwriter, and I didn't get involved in the music, although I did come up with like different musical ideas and some choral things like that, harmonies and stuff. But I didn't see it. I thought, well, I like it, but then he said this bit you're gonna have to go really high, and I said, well, I can't do that. He said, of course you can. You were trained by an opera singer. He had to tell me, stupid, really. I can't do it. Of course you can. Shut up. And of course, to hear it when the band was together in the orchestra, oh my God, tears.
Yeah.
Amazing.
My personal favorite,
Oh my
Scheherazade
God.
and Other Stories.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. 3 nights at Carnegie Hall with that one. That was amazing. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Most of these albums we recorded at Delaney Studios, which is in Wembley. And I'm just trying to remember how we did the orchestra, and the choir also. I guess we might have done that in the big studio. But oh my gosh. I think my favorite on the album is Song of Scheherazade.
Mhm.
I think, and I didn't play it for a couple of years when we finished it. I don't know why. I was afraid to be disappointed, but then and try and look at it from the outside and not get so close to it because singing, did I do it right? When blah blah blah. But when I heard it, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And I was about to have an operation on my ear, and I just started living with Roy Wood. Um, do you know Roy Wood? He started the movement ELO,
Yeah.
and
It's very good.
I remember that he was picking me up from the hospital after having this ear operation, and I'd already been in and done all the vocals and everything, and he brought a tape that he put in the car, so I could hear the final mix and everything while he took me home. I cried my eyes out. Oh my God. Just the way it builds up and to the end, it's like,
Yeah, that's the beauty.
I do that. It was like amazing. I don't know how I did it, but I guess it's just the way because I was trained to be an opera singer. So I was singing from my diaphragm. So it was easy for me to sing, and high notes were nothing,
Yeah.
really, to a
Um,
penny.
you've mentioned Carnegie Hall, so we have a live album, and you have
Oh,
a number of live albums. So my question with this record and every other live record is, how important was the live presentation for you?
oh, it was amazing. Um, Tony Cox was the he orchestrated everything. So he came out and he actually conducted the orchestra at Carnegie Hall, and it was we had to um, we had rehearsals in New York, I remember, and it was a big space, for the whole orchestra and for the choir. And I remember that one of the I think it was the person who was going to. Oh, it could have been Tony. No, it wasn't Tony Cox because he knew that wasn't what I did. But one of the like the head violin or something like came over and was talking to me, and he said, "Oh, sit down. Now, are you going to be the choir master?" No, I'm just a singer in the band. Oh, things you remember, but it was it. I think we had the Rolling Stones mobile unit with that, recording it. But the recording is incredible.
It is
When did we do it? 70,
6, I think.
76.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think you're going back, oh my, it's incredible. The sound. And it was to stand on the stage at Carnegie Hall. I get choked up now thinking about it because I joined 71 and we were 71, yeah. So it was 5 years, 76. Did we record it 76 or 75?
Um, Probably borderline, I want to say.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So it seems such a short time because we started off going up and down the motorways like everybody else. We used to go into the services on the motorways, and there's Queen sitting in there. Not the Queen, but Queen the band. Because we were all kind of around the same era, going up and down, and all the gigs wherever they were non-stop. But yeah, that Carnegie Hall, I think it's my favorite album, to be honest. I think that's my favorite. It's so magnificent, brings back amazing memories, and all the fans were all dressed up, all the ones that were usually scruffy like they were. Everybody was dressed up. You could see them all. It was incredible. Yeah.
Special occasion.
Oh, very special. Very, very special. Yeah.
Novella.
Oh, yeah. Another great album. My gosh. Did we have orchestra on that? We did, didn't we?
Yeah. Oh,
Because
you always had something present.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh gosh, can you hear me?
I love that one.
Oh, they're so different from each other, aren't they? Like your Mother Russia, then you love that and think, and then Can You Hear Me? So different, but so amazing. And Touching Once is
Mhm.
brilliant. And then we had at the end of that, which is I had to sing that part, vocalese after that when we recorded it originally. We brought in a sax player,
Mhm.
saxophone player to play at the end, it took it to another place. Yeah, that's a great album. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
the beauty of Renaissance that even though the band was defined, it never stood still.
No, it didn't. No. Yeah, we just kept going. We toured a lot. We recorded a lot.
But,
Um,
but even musically, as far as writing,
oh no, no. Oh no,
you
no.
always kept on adding ingredients.
Yes, that's right. That's what I said. Like it just naturally went from one to another without even forcing it. It was just, it was great. Yeah, it was the five of us together were very special. That unit of the band, the classic, one of the classics. Yeah.
Song for all seasons, and in many ways, they're all songs for all seasons.
Except that's not me on the cover, and I was very upset about that they did that because it was because they didn't want me on the cover.
Why would that be?
Well, because I guess because they didn't want me to stand out, the band.
Politics.
Politics, which when that happened, I thought, oh, this is not good. And then that's why I believe that's why we didn't get to where we should have got. It was too much with that going along.
Mhm. So how did that translate into Azur Dior?
Yeah, well, that's different. That was different, wasn't it? I don't get as excited about it, but there's still some great songs on it,
Mhm.
you know?
So all of a sudden, you in 1980s, and anyone who lived in those times remembers how much the scene had changed. Drastic. It was such a drastic change. All of a sudden, you had MTV call the shots. So what was it like when you did Camera?
Look at me in high heels.
I
I,
know.
yeah, I very rarely wore high heels. In every jacket that we wore on the album, front and back or whatever, they were all mine. Yeah, that was. Let's see, camera is that camera was the first one, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Mhm.
Yeah, and gotta remember I borrowed that camera from the real estate agent that I knew lived down the road. They had a great camera that went da 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 da, one of those
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Couldn't do that with mine at the time, and so yeah. And I think I remember I did cut my hair at one point, and then the band members changed, and we did come over here. I think it was with that album, didn't we? Because I've got some pictures of me with like shorter hair up here. Um, yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't very happy, to be honest. It wasn't. It was nothing like it was with the five of us.
And
It was,
in some ways, the sound reflected that.
of course,
Yeah.
it would do because different personalities. Um, and again, trying to think of are we going to do another hit single, which actually we did have a fabulous song called The Winter Tree.
Mhm.
And I think that's on As You Adore. And I believe, whether I'm correct or not, and is that, when you have a hit single, you put one out, when that one's going down the chart, you really should put another one out straight away. We
Mhm.
didn't do that. We left it too long.
Uh,
And it was good because it had that similar sound to Northern Lights, a similar, vocal thing. It's a great song.
you kind of continue on this path with
Ooh,
timeline. I mean, I'm looking at this cover and it's like, I want my MTV.
I want my hair back. God. It's a good shot, but yeah. Let's see, that was Timeline, wasn't it? Yeah.
Which also
It's
was the
it's
last album. And
it's funny because talk about the other albums and I can just like fall into them and I can feel the flow of them and everything, but now I'm getting all disjointed,
Mhm.
which is what it was. It was disjointed. There was nothing flowed anymore. The music went from one track to another it didn't kind of fit.
Well, no surprise the band stopped afterwards.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, that was the last one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Any particular event that made the band kind of go away?
I think what we decided to do was um we wanted to keep going, so we did a kind of a semi-acoustic thing,
Mhm.
you know, me, John, and Mickey. But actually, before that, let me think about this. 1, 2, 3. We did get a band. Yeah, Mickey and I decided to get a band together of musicians over here, and see if we could get some gigs. And so we did. In fact, Mark Lambert, who's in the band now, um, he was in that band. Rave was in my solo band, but not in Renaissance in those days. But yeah, we did go out as a well, it was still a band, but it wasn't heavy, and the reaction was good. But then, unfortunately, John Camp left the band like 3 weeks before an American tour, which was uh, very sad for us because nearly had a nervous breakdown. Yeah, and we lost John, sadly. I don't know if you know that, just before Christmas, I think, was it? Just after Christmas. But yeah, he decided that he wanted to do something else, but it wasn't a very good time to do it, unfortunately. But we carried on with the tour that we had coming up. And that's when Mark joined and played bass and guitar. God, you know what? There's so many incarnations of I'm trying to
Right.
get,
I
but they're
know.
great people, really fabulous people. And I love American people. I mean, really, oh, I should have turned that off, shouldn't I? Go away, go away, go away. Sorry. Um, so, and then but the thing is, we weren't getting anywhere. We weren't, we weren't writing any music. And so we were just going out and playing, like not like a tribute band because it was me and Mickey, but um, in the end, we just carried on. Um, just it was Mickey. Well, it was Mickey and John and I, and then and that's when we made it a bit bigger. And that's right. We got all these gigs, big ones. Tower Theatre in Philadelphia is a big place we got, and I think we sold it out. But that was that just before that tour. That's when John left, and so that was that was then Mickey and I. Um, I don't think we did anything else after that. We just wound it down. It was sad,
It
you know.
was, but a few years had passed, and eventually you found your mojo back with Tuscany.
Yes.
What a
What,
return.
what it was, yeah, well, that was strange. Who started that? I can't remember who started that up, but uh, I think it was both of us talking. And so, why don't we do one more album? That's right. Oh, and I know what it was. And um, Mickey had this friend who wanted to put the money up to record it. That's right. That's what it was. Um, and we brought in Mickey Simmons, who'd worked with Mike Oldfield. He's a very good keyboard player, and also John Tout and Terry. And also we brought in Roy Wood, um, who turned up with bagpipes and a kilt for rehearsals. But he's very funny, Roy. He's not, that was it. Very funny. So yeah, let's see. So yeah, that's right. John Tout, me, Mickey, Roy. Yeah, Mickey Simmons wasn't in at that time. John Tout did part of the album, and then he just didn't want to do anymore. He just, he started his, he'd got a different life and he didn't really want to get back into traveling and again. So that's when Mickey Simmons came in and took over there. And Roy just did the first, some things. Um, but we did have a bass player called Alex Caird. He was very good. Um, and then, but yeah, some of the songs are amazing. We did 1,000 Roses
Mhm.
on the album. We did that on the final tour, and oh my God, it went down so well. It was brilliant. So some good songs on there. Eva's Pond. I like that album. We had a great time doing it. I wrote all the songs, all the lyrics anyway, except for no, it's not on that album. 1,000 Angels isn't on there, is it? No, it's not.
No.
What's on there? What are the songs on there?
Lady from Tuscany, Pearl
Oh,
Jam.
Lady from Tuscany. Yeah, I bought this. You can't see it there. That's an oil painting of
I'm able
paint.
to see it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you can see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I found that, and Mickey and I were talking about. It's actually when we were talking about getting it together, this album and everything. And I bought that in a local store in Doylestown called Renaissance Furnishings. And it was a consignment store,
Mhm.
you know. And I went in there one day and she'd just got it in. It was on the floor by the door. And I thought, oh my God, Paganini. And she let me have it for $150. And it's got a tiny little dent in his face, but it could be something that could be dealt with, but it's like an old oil painting, so it would spoil it, you know. So I just left it. You can't really tell. And so I had this, I put it up, and then all of a sudden I thought, oh, I'm going to read up about him, you know. And I found out that you know, he's quite a ladies' man, naughty boy, and you know, uh, he was a nutcase. That most people are that are, you know, genius. He's a genius, and so I wrote these words down and sent them to Mickey, and that's how it was like, oh my God, Lady from Tuscany, it's fantastic. That's another great one on that album. I
It is.
love it.
You've made another great record, as it turns out, your last one,
Oh yes,
studio, right? So, um, Grandin Il Vento or Symphony of Lights.
yes. Yeah, Grandinale Vento. Yeah, we recorded. Yeah, Mickey and I were talking, and I said, really, why don't we do a ballad, something like Sarah Brightman might do? And so he came up with Grandinale Vento. And so I wrote the words that came very easily. Um, and I got a gigantic mirror in my bedroom, and I don't know why I brought it from England. Why would I bring a mirror from England? You know, but I think it's a portal, actually. That's why I brought it. But it's only recently I thought about that. But and that's the beginning of the song is about this mirror, really, and what happens in the mirror. And when we did it, we did a sample to play to somebody, and then somebody said, Annie, you're not singing Grandine Il Vento. The way you got it written means um, oh God, what was it? A piece of a piece of ice called? I mean ice, you know, from the sky, ice. Um, oh,
Hail.
hail. That's right. It's like yeah, something about hail. I thought, oh bloody hell. So that's the way I was singing it because I should have been singing it Grandine il vento rather than I was singing Grandine Invento. That's what I was singing. Grandine should have been. And
Mm.
so, in fact, we got somebody in that Rave knew into his studio who was Italian, and he's the one. Oh, it sounds fantastic, but you're singing it wrong. And I thought, oh my God, I got to go in and record it again because we'd finished the whole thing, the song. And I thought it would only take me like an hour or so. It took me about 4 or 5 hours because I couldn't get it right. I couldn't get the pronunciation, but in the end, I love it. Symphony of Lights about Leonardo da Vinci, and that came just floating by right through me. I was just because I'm so in love with his work, and Mickey didn't want that song. He said it's too literal, and I said, "Well, who wrote Starry, Starry Night? You know, Starry, Starry Night." La da 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 da. It's about Vincent van Gogh.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
And so I said, who wrote this then, Mick? And he said, don't know. What's it about? I said, it's about Vincent van Gogh. That's who it's about, you know. That was funny. And that became his favorite song on the album.
What about The Mystic and the Muse? What an
Oh my
epic
gosh.
song that is.
Yeah, well, I had painted a painting called The Muse. And when it came to the music and he played me the music, I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. It's another great song, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Um, and and it really fired me up. And then it just came to me really the mystic in the music. It's just it's almost like the music was saying, I want to be this word. It was like I can't explain it any other way. And so it was perfect, really. And that's what it is. And we played it the first time on stage. We opened up for Steve Hackett in 2011 when he came over here, and we went up to Canada and we played it in Ottawa. And I think I don't know how many people, 3,000 people or something like that. And we did the Mystic in the Muse, and we got standing ovation.
Yeah. I
To
mean,
get that for a song that you've never heard before, you know, it was amazing.
to me,
And
that song connects Renaissance with all of those amazing pieces from the 1970s that make you
Yeah,
flow.
absolutely. It does. I agree. Yeah.
And I did
Nice.
see you in Chicago when you played that, and that was absolutely amazing.
Oh, really?
Yep, at Park West.
Park West, yeah, yeah. Were you at the original Park West show we did?
No, no,
80s.
that yeah. I have a recording of it because it was on the radio.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, yeah, that's a great song. There's some great songs on there.
yeah. Um, the death of Michael Dunford came very unexpected in 2012. Um, he was such a creative force in Renaissance. What memories, feelings you have about him?
Oh, I remember being at my audition and I thought, oh, what a good-looking man. And he was had a burgundy velvet, tight velvet pants tucked into knee-high boots, leather boots like we did in the 70s, you know. That's the first thing. When I first saw him, I thought, what a handsome man. And he was lovely. He always had a lovely way about him and everything. And you know, he quiet in some ways. He didn't, you know, when with Renaissance, he didn't really come up to the microphone much at all. John was the one who was like forceful, you know, like me at the front, and everything. But yeah, a great acoustic guitarist. He didn't like playing the electric guitar. He did a couple of times, but it was awkward. He didn't like it. And it was never really meant for us, I don't think. But when he passed away, which was that was a shock. It was after, let's see, it was 2012, and it was, you know, the Hurricane Sandy that was coming round. He got the last plane out, British Airways flight from Philadelphia back to England. He got out, you know, got home, and then everybody else had a lot to deal with over here. Um, and he passed away like about 3 or 4 weeks after that. Um, and it was such a shock. Um, and the next morning, his wife called me up, Claire, and I just I was in disbelief. I just couldn't believe it. And the next morning, I used to have a Bose radio. And I had an alarm in it, and would come on with one of the local radio stations to wake me up. And it came on the next morning to wake me up, and it was Michael Dunford playing the guitar at the beginning of Midas Man. It was the song Midas Man that came on the radio.
Hmm.
And I cried my eyes out because that was the message. There's no doubt. I mean, I didn't, you know, yeah, there he is. I thought, hang on, where am I? You know, waking up. Oh my God. Yeah, he's still around. He used to call me Old Bean. Old Bean. And sometimes I hear him saying, you're doing good, Old Bean. Or pull yourself together, Old Bean. You're okay. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Uh,
he's been around definitely, Old Bean. Thank you.
so at this point, what is the status of Renaissance?
Well, we did our farewell tour last October. Um, you know, we'd had John Share managed us again, which was great for a while. And then we had another manager who came in that was really not. No, didn't get on with him at all. He didn't really like me either. So I mean, it was never going to work really. And so in 2013, let's say 2000, Mickey passed away in 2012. So in 2013, I think it was, luckily managed to get away from that situation, and but didn't know who to trust after that or where to go, you know. So I just managed to do everything myself, along with the help of Rave Tessa, who's the key main pianist in the band now, who's been a friend for years and has helped me with some business things. And we've got another lawyer friend, Kevin Colligan, who's amazing. And, you know, so I've got a team of people, but it was very difficult not being able to have any, you know, to do the right thing because I'm not a manager, you know.
Mhm.
And so, oh, can you hang on? Can I just stop for a second?
Um,
Because my battery's running out. So, well,
we were talking about the status of the band.
oh yeah. So we did the farewell tour, and uh, Um, I had a really bad year last year with my right knee was bone on bone, and so I needed to get a knee replacement. And so they wanted me to have it soon, which would have been in when we were doing the tour. And I thought, with the state of the world, I don't know what's going to happen. So I decided that I was going to deal with it. I got an injection in my knee to help me. There's something that's like a gel. I can't remember the Synvec, I think it's called. And it did help me. Some people it doesn't help. Other people it helps for like 3 or 4 months. And it helped me. It definitely helped me. And I wore a brace, like an elasticated brace. But unfortunately, because I still got a lot of pain through the tour, it was hard to focus. And I did have an accident, and the second to the last show, I fell backwards because I did something where I looked down and I lost my focus and concentration and went straight back.
Mhm.
And so it was a bad year, and I thought maybe it's time, to hang up my microphone, so to speak. And I was very sad about it, but and then of course when I'd done something to my disc as well when I fell back, but luckily my knee was fine. So that was it really. And a lot of people came out for the shows, and it was sad, but it was good. The band were amazing, and then in September, the promoter contacted me and said, I'd like you to come down and do a one-woman show, and that's where this all started with Jim.
In many ways, that could feel like a good, almost like a therapy.
Well, it's a rebirth. It's a renaissance,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's a renaissance.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, no. It's been a lot of work just pulling it all together, but also at the same time getting the CD sorted out from the last. We got it mixed and everything, but there were several delays, so that's got to. It's almost done now that the CDs are going to be sent out this week or coming week, and I can breathe then, and that's done, and it sounds amazing. It was recorded at the Scottish Rite Auditorium in New Jersey. Um, yeah, and then I was kind of sad, but I got my operation, and that was the most painful thing I've had in my life, I think. And I think everybody knows it's not a good operation. But now I'm fine. And so then I get this call, and I thought, hmm. And then, but now I'm getting really excited about it because the CD, the CD, everything. You can't do everything at the same time, and that's what I've done over the years. Really, I've had to do too much on my own, so it's been, building up.
Now, you also found another way to express yourself, which is through your art. Tell me about when you got started and what
Well,
put you
yeah,
there.
it was 2002, and I was in my den, and a voice very clearly, and this has happened to me before. A voice said, "It's time to start oil painting now," and it was so clear, no, out of the blue.
Mhm.
And so I took notice, and I went. I turned my sunroom, which is about, I would say, about 14 feet by 14 feet, something like that. That size, 1660, and it's nearly all glass. And I made that into my studio. Bought easels, bought a book on oil painting. I bought all the oil paints, everything that I needed, because that's what I was told. Oil paint. That's what I was. It was chosen for me. Um, and I didn't do anything for 2 months. I read one page in the book because I'm not a reader. And so I didn't read the part on really how to paint. So after 2 months, I woke up and I thought, oh, I think today's the day. And I went and picked a tiger lily from the garden, which is a big orange lily.
Mhm.
Um, Over here, they have lots. I'm sure you have them in Chicago. They're beautiful. And I picked it, and I sat down at these, and I thought, oh, where do I start? And I thought, that's silly, because I didn't read the book. But I thought, well, I'll just do what I did before when I haven't read the book and the instructions. I'll just start it and then learn from it. And that's what I did. And the painting was very disappointing. And I thought, well, I'm not meant to paint flowers. I just I didn't know what it was that was going to come, and but then I thought when I got to the grass at the bottom of the painting, it's like somebody's hand was holding mine, and I started doing this grass that moved, that was all moving, flowing grass, and somebody was holding my hand. I could feel it. So the next painting was just grass, and then the fourth painting was a UFO over an ocean.
There it is.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Don't get me talking about that,
Yeah.
because I get myself into trouble. Yeah, no. So anyway, but all my paintings after that were the fourth one. I was in my studio, and I started to paint this. I didn't really. I just picked colors. I didn't think I should get these colors and put them together. I just picked them up and put them together without thinking about it. I started a sky that was kind of had swirls in it. It was kind of a periwinkle blue with like a rose red or something in the sky, and then there was a sun and a blazing sun, and then like a desert underneath it. And I thought, and as I was painting it, in front of me, about 6 inches away from me, yeah, came this little skein of silk with a red spider on it in front of my eyes, and it was there, and I went like that, and then it disappeared. But what happened was my whole studio filled up with the smell, the odor of a pipe smoke.
Hmm.
So it was Van Gogh.
Yeah.
It was with me. And I felt that a lot, and that smell was there for months.
Fantastic.
Yes. So there's a lot of weird things happen to me, actually.
Which is a good thing.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Finally, we spoke about your voice early on, but how do you maintain it, especially as you get up there age-wise?
Well, I was okay on the last tour. Um, when we're touring, I wear a mask in the bus, wherever when we're traveling, I wear a mask. When I go to the post office or anywhere else, like from now on, I'm really taking care of what I do, you know. And somebody in the supermarket said to me, "Why are you wearing a mask?" I said, "Because I don't want to get sick. Do you?" I mean, it's obvious why, really. But and it's funny because that was a few years ago, and when the pandemic happened, and I walked into the post office, they said, "Here she comes." She started it all because I was the only one who go in the post office with a mask on. But that was for my voice. It wasn't anything to do with the pandemic. And then everybody's wearing, they're not wearing them now, and they should be, because there's all this stuff falling from the sky. There's all that stuff going on.
Oh yeah, you're not the only one. I can think of, I want to say year 2000, years before pandemic, meeting Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull, and instead of shaking his hand, he would only do elbows,
Right.
which is something I picked up from him because I'm a teacher by trade, and you know
Yeah,
how you
of
work in a
course.
factory of germs, so I do
Yeah.
elbows too ever since then.
Well, I do this.
Yeah, fist bump, yes.
Yeah. That's the only, yeah, better to do that. A lot of people get offended, and I say, no. It's like somebody giving you a bootleg CD and it's a bootleg to sign.
Mhm.
And I've turned people, I turned this one person down, and she went crazy. She went crazy. I said, "I'm sorry. Why would I sign something that somebody's stolen from me?" No, it wasn't you, but And then another person, I did something else somewhere else, and I did sign something for somebody because I could see that they were probably going to cry. It's awful, really. But there you go. There's always people around like that.
Oh yeah. Annie, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for so much great information, and good luck with the new show.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm excited about it. Yeah, very much. And I have a new website coming. My art website is going to be updated to something new. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that. Anybody that's interested, it's anniehaslam.com.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought I'd make a little advert there, But anyway, thank you so much for inviting me. It was most enjoyable to go through all the albums like that.
I'm so happy you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did. Thank you very much indeed. Are you going to be coming? How far is Edwardsville from you? It's a few hours, isn't it? 4 hours.
I'll look into it, see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you been there?
No, I haven't, but I've read good things about it from Nectar, I believe. They
Oh,
have.
yes. Mo.
Yeah,
Mo, yes. He's the English one, isn't he? Yeah, that's a good band. Great band. Okay, well, it was very nice to speak to you.
likewise.
And hopefully you can come to Edwardsville.